ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारंभा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः. So we have completed the 17th chapter and now we are coming to the Upasamhara of Bhagavad Gita, which is the last or the 18th concluding chapter. That is the conclusion where Bhagwan is going to give the summary of all these chapters that we have studied. The teaching actually happened between the 11th verse of the second chapter until the end of the 15th chapter. Actual teaching of Brahmajnanam or Atmajnanam took place. But the 16th chapter and 17th chapter, Bhagwan Krishna specifically dealt with all these Daivi Sampattis and the values that are to be inculcated for this knowledge to be established very well in the intellect of the person, of the Mumukshu. And with this now, the 18th chapter, which is ultimately the landing or the Upasamhara, is going to start. Now, Bhagwan Krishna himself, since it is a very summary of the entire teaching, does not go much deep into the verses. He takes them quite superficially or does not spend too many details as he did between the second chapter and the 17th chapter, because Krishna assumes that we have gone through all these 17 chapters and now we have come to the summary of the entire Gita, the entire teaching of it, which is the 18th chapter. And therefore, here we'll find that the verses are not in too much of detail. So, here also, I'll also follow the same pattern where when these verses are dealt, since there are a lot of repetitions here, those verses which are repeated and which are simple, I may not spend too much time on them. But wherever there is a necessity, there adequate time and effort will be spent on describing or explaining those verses. Now, here the 18th chapter starts with a question from Arjuna. One thing again we have to remember is the first six chapters or the first shatkam of Bhagavad Gita dealt with the Tvampada Vichara. Tvampada Vichara means what is the very nature or the Swarupam of Jiva, and also the sadhanam meant for this understanding of the Tvampada or understanding the Jiva Swarupa as to who am I, what am I. The sadhana that was given was Karma Yoga. With Karma Yoga, Chitta Shuddhi, because of the management or dilution of ragadveshas. Offering all that I do as an offering to Ishvara and accepting everything that comes, the phalam, as the prasadam of Ishvara, was meant for managing of ragadveshas, which in other words is called chitta shuddhi, which was the sadhana for understanding the tvam padartha, understanding me, the jiva, to be nothing but that atmasvarupa. Then the second Shatkam we saw from the 7th up till the 12th chapter dealt with the Tat Padartha or dealt with Ishvara Swarupa. And to understand that Ishvara Swarupa, Bhagwan talked about it in the form of Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, and he also talked about it in the form of Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti, explaining that everything that is there, the entire universe, is nothing but my manifestation, Ishvara's manifestation, Brahman's manifestation iti. He explained in these 7 chapters and said that Upasana is the sadhanam for this. Surrender, prapatti, and upasana are the sadhanas for actually understanding this tat padartha or Ishvara Swarupam. So, Jiva Swarupam, the first 6 chapters, Ishvara Swarupam, the second 6 chapters, and the last 6 chapters up till the 17th verse dealt with what? It dealt with the Mahavakya or this actual knowledge where the Jiva and Ishvara were explained to be not different from each other. Jiva Ishvara Abheda, Jiva Brahma Abheda was talked about in the 13th chapter, 14th chapter, and 15th chapter in detail. And for this knowledge to properly get established in one's intellect, Bhagwan gave a lot of importance to the values that need to be inculcated in the form of Amanitva, the values in the 13th chapter, Daivi Sampatti in the 16th chapter, and also the 3 types of Shraddhas, especially the Satviki Shraddha, which is necessary for every mumukshu for this knowledge to get well established. This was what was talked about up till the 17th chapter. Now the 18th chapter, the same things, the same concepts which have been talked about earlier are going to be explained, and it starts with a question from Arjuna. See, even in the beginning of the 18th chapter, Arjuna is again asking the same question as what is sannyasa and what is tyaga. Arjuna is hell bent right now upon running away from the battlefield, and he wants to take sannyasa without understanding that he is not yet fit for this particular thing. See, sannyasa is actually truly, yes, our scriptures say that sannyasa means giving up of all the karmas, renunciation of everything, the whole jagat, one's karma, everything, and then taking up to a monastic lifestyle. That is explained as sannyasa, agreed. But then here, a person has to be prepared for it. Bhagwan says in the 5th chapter, Sannyasastu mahabaho praptum dukham praptum ayogataha. A person who is not prepared for this renunciation, a person who does not have the emotional and the intellectual, mental preparation to renounce everything and go away, for such a person, sannyasa is not going to be that easy. Though Bhagwan Krishna agrees with the scriptures that sannyasa is ultimately giving up all the karmas, which he will talk about in the last teaching verse of this 18th chapter, the 66th verse. Right now, Bhagavan does not want to describe this sannyasa as leaving everything and going away, because he's talking to Arjuna, who is waiting for a chance to get out of his swadharma and go and get out and be a sannyasi. But Krishna knows that Arjuna is not prepared for this. Arjuna unfortunately does not understand that he is not yet fit for this sannyasa, and therefore he keeps on asking this question again and again and again, what is it that is meant by sannyasa? And here, Krishna, you are all the time talking about tyaga. What is it, the meaning of tyaga? What is this sannyasa? Look, if Arjuna was really interested in sannyasa, so many years that he was there in the forest, why did he not think of that? Arjuna never thought of sannyasa in all those 12 years, after the, Dhyuta game of dice. And before that also, when they were in the Vanvasa, he never thought of sannyasa. All the time he thought of taking revenge on the Kauravas and preparing for this war. He never thought of sannyasa. If in the right situation, in the right context, if Arjuna had asked Krishna for sannyasa, definitely Krishna would have given him Kashaya Vastra and Kamandalu and said, yes, Arjuna, go away. But at what context and in what situation is Arjuna asking about this? It is in a situation where he has to do his swadharma, he has to do his duty of fighting this dharma yuddha. But for some reason, like moha and attachment to those people who are on the opposite side, Arjuna, for some reason, does not want to fight this war, and he wants to stray away from his swadharma and wants to take up sannyasa as an escape. And that is what Bhagwan doesn't want. No scripture tells anybody. Scriptures talk about sannyasa to a person who has enough preparation of the mind. And once the person has completed all his duties, then yes, ashrama sannyasa or a monastic way of life can be taken. But when a person is not prepared and the person is still yet to fulfill his swadharmas, even scriptures do not talk about sannyasa at all. But here, Arjuna's question, even in 18th chapter, in the last chapter, again, he's asking the same question. And what is that question? Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum त्यागस्य च हृषीकेश पृथक् केशि निषूदन. Hey Keshi Nishudana, hey destroyer of this demon called as Keshi, hey Krishna, hey Hrishikesha, also as Sambodhana for Krishna. Hrishikesha means the master of all the senses. Hey Hrishikesha, hey Keshi Nishudhana, I want to know what is the meaning of sannyasa. Sannyasasya, hey Mahabaho Krishna, sannyasasya tattvam ichhami veditum. Sannyasasya, what is the meaning of sannyasa? What is the reality of sannyasa? What is the tattvam of sannyasa? I want to know. Not only that, Krishna, tyagasya cha prithak. In addition to sannyasa, I also want to know what this tyaga is. You have been talking about karma phala tyaga. You have been talking about karma tyaga. What is it? What is the meaning? Is there any difference between sannyasa and tyaga? Or are they the same? What are they? What is sannyasa? What is the tattvam of sannyasa? What is the tattvam of tyaga? I want to know. Now, in the second, from here, Bhagwan starts his teaching here. And in the second and third verses, Bhagwan wants to give the opinion of Shastragnas regarding what sannyasa is and what tyaga is. There are many different scholars who talk about sannyasa and tyaga in a different way. So, what is it? Now, initially, Bhagwan wants to talk about the opinion of the scholars, the opinions of the knowers of Shastra, the Shastragnas, as to what is sannyasa, what is tyaga. And there is a difference of opinion here. Some people say that sannyasa is something, some people say something else. So, what are the various contentions? What are the various differences of opinions of various Shastragnas as far as sannyasa and tyaga is concerned? That is going to be explained first by Lord Krishna in the second verse and the third verse. So, second and third verses are not Krishna's opinion, but they are the opinion of other knowers of Shastra. So, let us read the second verse. Shri Bhagavanuvacha काम्यानां कर्मणां न्यासं सन्न्यासं कवयो विदुः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणाः. So the vichakshanaha, the scholars, kavayaha, again the scholars and those who are the knowers of Vedas, they have this way, one way of explaining this. What is this one way where some of the vichakshanas or the knowers of Veda explain? He says that, see, karma can be divided according to the scriptures. Karma is divided into 5 types. Nitya karma, Naimitika karma, Kamya karma, Prayashchita karma, and Nishiddha karma. That means Nitya karma is a Vihita karma. which is enjoined by the Shruti to be done daily, like daily Agnihotra Karma, daily Swadhyaya, for a particular Varna and for a particular ashrama, what has to be done daily, the daily pujas that have to be done, Atiti Satkara that has to be done, Swadhyaya that has to be done. There are certain things called as Nitya Karmas. And there are certain duties called as Naimitika Karmas, which are done at appropriate occasions, not daily, like Shraddha. At the time of a particular Shraddha, a particular person's death muhurtam, that is done as a Shraddha. That is a Naimitika Karma. Maybe there is some Upanayanam to be done or marriage to be done. Again, Naimitika Karma. At a certain requirement, in a certain situation, at a certain time, it is done. And the other three, that is the Kamya Karmas, because I want to do certain karmas, certain yagas and yajnas, because I want to achieve something. I want to get something out of it. Kamya Karma, driven by desire, driven by longing. Then there is something called as Prayashchita Karma, that I have done a lot of papa, maybe I have done something like this. So I want to do Prayashchita for that. So there are certain karmas prescribed in the Veda Purva as Prayashchita Karmas. And lastly, there is something called as the Nishiddha Karmas, karmas that one should not do, himsadi karmas. This should not be done, that should not be done. Kalanjan na bhakshet, suram na pibet, or himsam na kuryat. There are so many nishiddha karmas that the Shastra talks about. So what this first group of people say is that kamyanam karmanam nyasam, giving up the kamya karmas, the prayashchita karmas, and the nishiddha or the karmas to be avoided. These three karmas should not be done, but one has to do the nitya karma and naimitika karma. So, not doing the nishiddha karmas, not doing the prayashchitta karmas, not doing the kamya karmas is called as sannyasa. But one has to continue to do the nitya karma, naimitika karma. This is one opinion. Then what is tyaga? Sarva karma phalatyagam prahuhu tyagam. The same people say that you have to do the nitya karmas, naimitika karmas, the other three have to be avoided. But even while doing these two karmas, one should not expect any kind of a phalam. The phalam has to be given up to Ishvara as Ishvara Prasada. This is what is called as tyaga. So, withdrawing oneself from the Nishiddha, Prayashchitta and Kamya karmas is sannyasa, and giving up all expectations of karma phala is tyaga. This is one opinion as given in the second verse. Now, in the third verse, Bhagwan talks about another contention, another group which talks about what this sannyasa is. What do they say? त्याज्यं दोषवदित्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति चापरे. There is another group now, a second group which says त्याज्यम दोषवदित्येके कर्म प्राहु. All karmas have to be avoided because every karma is a bondage. Nitya karma also is a bondage, Naimitika karma is also bondage, and the other three, no doubt, are bondage. Therefore, this group says that all the karmas have to be avoided. And a person, if he wants to be a sannyasi, he should be a sarva karma sannyasi, not out of knowledge. Sarva karma sannyasi by giving up everything and going away, whether he is fit for this sannyasa or not. Look, we normally are so used to doing something. Just imagine if I and you have to sit doing nothing. Of course, for sannyasi also, there are things to be done. They have to do 12,000 Omkara japas. They have to do Swadhyaya, excluding everything, exclusive of everything else. A sannyasi has to concentrate only on Atmajnana and Japa. There are certain karmas which are vihitam for a sannyasi also. It's not that I don't do anything. But then, unless I'm prepared for that, will it be possible? Can I sit for 3 hours, 4 hours in a day and do 12,000 Omkara Japas? Is it possible for me to do that? Is it possible for me to be involved for hours together the whole day without doing it in Vedanta Shravana Manana Nididhyasana? Is it possible for me? Am I prepared for it? That is not seen here at all. Sarva karma sannyasa. Give up all the karmas, including nitya karma, naimitya karma, everything, and then, you know, retreat yourself into the forest or something and don't do anything. This is sannyasa. This is the opinion of some people. Mind you, again, I want to remind you, these are not the opinions of Lord Krishna. He is only giving the opinions of some people or the Shastrajna. Then there is another group, the third group, which says, Yajna Dana Tapa Karma Na Tyajamiti Chapare. There is a third group which says that everything else has to be given up. But then yajna, dana, and tapas should not be given up. I don't know what kind of a thing this is, because when you're doing a nitya karma and naimitika karma, you're doing yajna only. It is a type of yajna only. When you're following the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti and discipline, it is following discipline only. When you're giving dana, you're doing something and you're doing the dana. That is also a karma. So some people say that all karmas have to be avoided, whereas another group of people say that you may avoid all these other karmas, even Nitya karma you avoid, Naimitika karma, all the karmas, but you have to do the Yajna, Dana, and Tapas, which has been very detailed, in detail talked about in the 17th chapter. So, this is the opinion of all the scholarly people. So, three opinions were talked about where Nitya Naimitika karma are not given up, and even when doing that, there is no intention of any karma phala. The first opinion. Second opinion, all kinds of karmas have to be given up, because any karma becomes binding and sannyasa is not possible. That is sannyasa. The third opinion is you can stop doing all the karmas, but yajna, dana, tapas has to be done. This is the meaning of sannyasa, is the opinion of different groups of scholars. Now, from the fourth verse, Bhagwan's opinion is going to be there. Bhagwan Krishna is going to talk about his opinion of sannyasa. Now, the funny thing is, Bhagwan Krishna also knows that really giving up of everything is sannyasa, which is actually what is given in the scriptures. But at the same time, Bhagwan Krishna also knows that Arjuna at present is not capable of such a sannyasa. He has not the adhikaritvam for this kind of a sannyasa. Therefore, what does Krishna do? Very intelligently, very intelligently, Lord Krishna gives a revised version of sannyasa. He neither says that you should give up this, you should not give up this, nothing, but he gives a revised version to Arjuna. And through Arjuna, it is to all of us who are unprepared for a monastic lifestyle. Krishna says this answer of sannyasa and tyaga in a different, in a modified way. And according to Krishna, sannyasa is not different from tyaga. Sannyasa and Tyaga mean one and the same according to Lord Krishna. Though the other scholars divided Sannyasa and Tyaga, which probably is what Arjuna knows. Arjuna has heard about it. There is something called sannyasa, there is something called tyaga. So, what is this sannyasa? What is this tyaga? What is the difference? This is what Arjuna wants to know. But here, Lord Krishna is not giving him the actual definition, but giving him the correct definition of sannyasa, but in a little different, modified way. Not telling him directly, Arjuna, you're not fit for sannyasa, therefore don't bother about it. Doesn't say that, because a guru cannot discourage the student, discourage the shishya. So he does not say that you are not fit for it. But he gives a modified answer to Arjuna's question, where sannyasa and tyaga are considered to be one and the same. Krishna does not differentiate at all between karma and tyaga. So, what does he say? He says, fourth verse, Nishchayam shrunu me tatra tyage bharata sattama त्यागो हि पुरुष व्याघ्र त्रिविध संप्रकीर्तितः. So instead of going directly to sannyasa, he says, Nishchayam shrunu me. Listen to my nishchaya. Whatever the other scholars have said, I have already told you, but listen to my nishchaya. This is my nishchaya. Regarding what? Tyage. Tyaga and sannyasa being taken together. Now, Lord Krishna addresses sannyasa also as tyaga. He addresses sannyasa as tyaga because Arjuna is not prepared for the ashrama sannyasa, for the monastic lifestyle. Therefore, what he wants to teach Arjuna is tyaga is possible. And what kind of a tyaga I am advising you to do because you are not prepared for ashrama sannyasa. Therefore, this is what you have to do. Iti tyage nishchayam me shunu. With regard to tyaga or sannyasa, may you listen to my opinion. O Bharata Sattama. Bharata Sattama means most exalted among the Bharata Kula Udbhava people. Arjuna being one of the most exalted of Bharata Vamsha. Hey Bharata Sattama, listen to this. Tyago hi trividaha samprakirtitaha he purusha vyagra. Another sambodhana for Arjuna, Purusha Vyagra. Vyagraha among all the Purushas means very, a very, very valorous person. Purusha Vyagra. Like, we sometimes use these terms, like, oh, he's like a lion in this particular field. It's not really a lion. To say that in this particular field, he's a very good person, like a pillar of strength, we say. This man is a pillar of strength. He's not a pillar, but this is one way of explaining the importance of that person. Encouraging Arjuna, saying that, hey Purusha Vyagra, hey lion or a tiger among Purushas, a valorous one, oh valorous one, Tyago hi trividaha. First, let me tell you, Arjuna, what are the three types of Tyagas. So, Krishna is going a little away, deviating a little, and ultimately at the end of the chapter, he comes back to saying that yes, sannyasa is what the scriptures subscribe or describe, but it is not subscribed to. Or, they want prescribe a person what is sannyasa. But Arjuna, now Krishna doesn't want to say that. He'll only say it in the 66th verse. Sarva dharman parityaja mameva sharadam raja. Yes, give up all the actions, and that is sannyasa. That is what he'll say in the 66th verse. But now he says, Tyago hi trividhaha. Tyaga, in my opinion, understand Arjuna, it is of three types. Now, the 17th chapter, what we saw, the Satvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa Pravritti. The Satviki Shraddha, the Rajasi Shraddha, and Tamasi Shraddha, we saw what was described in the 17th chapter. Here now, Tyaga also is described in three ways by Lord Krishna. He says, Tyagamapi trividaha samprakirtitaha. This tyaga is also of three types, Arjuna. You understand where you come from. What kind of a tyaga is it that you want to do? What kind of sannyasa is it that it is? Try to see whether this ichha of yours for sannyasa or tyaga, is it a sattvika ichha or a rajasika ichha or tamasika ichha? So he describes, Lord Krishna, the tyaga or sannyasa itself, he describes in three forms: tamasa, rajasa, and sattvika. Why am I saying it in the opposite direction? In the fifth verse, Bhagwan is first going to describe the tamasa, this sannyasa or tyaga. What is tamasa tyaga is going to be described in the fifth verse, rajasa tyaga in the sixth verse, and sattvika tyaga in the seventh verse. Normally, what order does Lord Krishna take in the 16th and 17th chapter? Sattvika is described first, rajasa is described second, and tamasa described in the end. But here he chooses to describe the three varieties of tyaga in the opposite direction. So he says here, Yajna Dana Tapa Karma Natyajam Karyameva Tat Yajno Danam Tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. This is an introduction now. In the fifth verse, he says, Arjuna, I'm going to tell you one thing, that whatever may be your question about sannyasa or tyaga, yajna, dana, tapah, karma, we have seen that in detail in 17th chapter. What is yajna? Worship. Tapaha, discipline. Danam, sharing what I have, which is literally the lifestyle of an individual. Therefore, yajna, dana, tapa, karmaha na tyajyam. That should not be given up. It should not be given up by a person who is not yet prepared for sannyasa. So the tyaga of yajna, dana, tapa, karma is not the right thing for you to do. Na tyajyam. May you not give up doing yajna, dana, and tapaha. Yajna, dana, tapas. Right now, doing your swadharma, fighting this war, this dharma yuddha, is the yajna that you have to do. It is your yajna. Yajna rupena you have to do it. Offering it to me as an offering and accepting the Jaya, Vijaya, Labha, Alabha, Kirti, Akirti, whatever it is as my prasada. So right now for you fighting this war is the very yajna itself. Yajna, dana, tapa, karmaha, na tyajyam, karyameva tat. That is something which has to be done. Karyameva tat. Yajna, dana, tapaschaiva, pavanani manishinam. It is these three which give a human being the capacity to take up to sannyasa or tyaga, because they are those which are pavanani. They are the pavitra, they are the ones who cleanse the individual of all the papas. They are the ones who prepare the individual for this knowledge. They are the ones who prepare this individual for ultimate ashrama sannyasa also. So they are the purifying karma, say Arjuna. Therefore, yajna, dana, tapaschaiva, pavanani. They are the purifying karmas. And therefore, Arjuna, that should not be given up. This is my opinion. And then, if somebody gives it up, if that tyaga is done of this tyaga can be of three types: the tamasa tyaga, the rajasa tyaga, and also the satvika tyaga. Now let us see here what he says in the sixth verse. Yetanyapi tu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani ti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. Again, one more introduction before he talks about the tamasa, rajasa, and satvika tyagas. He said, Yetani api karmani. These three karmas, what are they? Yajna, dana, and tapa. How should they be done? Sangam tyaktva phalani cha. Phalani sangam tyaktva means forgetting about what results I am going to get here in this world or hereafter, after death. So, sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. Kurvanyeveva karmani, it is said in the Upanishad, in Ishavasya Upanishad. Kurvanyeveha karmani jijivishet shatagum samaha, the Ishavasya Upanishad says. In Gita also says, you have to do this all these karmas. For what? Kartavyam, they have to be done iti sangam tyaktva, giving any kind of an attachment or abhinivesha to the karma, as this is my karma. I am doing this karma, iti attachment to the karma itself, and I have to get this result because I have done this karma, iti attachment to the karma phala. Both of them are totally given up. So therefore, Arjuna, yetani apitu karmani, this yajna dana tapa rupi karmani, sangam tyaktva phalani cha. Sangam, or attachment to, or great expectations of the results of all these things, either here or hereafter. Kartavyani, they have to be done, irrespective of what phala I get. I may expect a phala as a human being. I'm doing this yajna, I'm doing this dana, I'm doing this tapaha, so I'm expecting some result. No, here only spiritual progress and this knowledge. With that expectation, if I do, it is a nishkama karma. So, what Krishna is asking here, Arjuna is asking Arjuna to do is all the karmas of yajna, dana, tapas, may they be nishkama karmas. Let there not be a karma for the result of these actions. Let all these karmas be for the sake of chitta shuddhi, chitta neshalyam, jnana yogyata prapti, and for jnanam. And if that is done, that are the most purifying of the karmas, and ultimately it will give you the preparation for this jnana. It will also prepare you for this ultimate lifestyle of monastic lifestyle. Therefore, kartavyani iti me partha nishchitam matam. This is my nishchitam matam. You have asked me, Arjuna, what is sannyasa? What is tyaga? But I am telling you right now, my nishchaya, learn that sannyasa and tyaga are one and the same. And they are of three types, which I am going to explain now. But Arjuna, yajna, dana, and tapa are kartavyani. They have to be done by all people who are not yet prepared to take this lifestyle of a sannyasa. That's why Krishna said, Lokesmin dvividha nishta pura prokta mayanagha. There are two lifestyles. One is the lifestyle of a grahastha or pravritti, where you do these yajna dana tapas without expectation of any results, only for spiritual growth. And there is another lifestyle where a person who is prepared for this monastic lifestyle takes up to this monastic lifestyle to the exclusion of all the duties, so that the only purpose of this monastic lifestyle is ultimately to assimilate this knowledge of Atma Brahma Aikyam. Therefore, Kartavyani iti me matam uttamam. This is my mata. This is the highest mata. In my opinion, this is the uttamam me matam kartavyani iti nishchitam. This is my nishchitam mata, hey Arjuna. Therefore, these three are not to be given up at all. And then, if that is so, there are three ways in which this yajna, dana, and tapas can be done, trividham. And they are depending upon what shraddha you have. We saw that shraddha traya yoga we saw in the last chapter. Depending upon whatever shraddha one has, whether it is a sattviki shraddha, rajasi shraddha, or tamasi shraddha, this tyaga also is in doing these karmas also for the sake of tyaga. That is what? For karma phala tyaga is of three types. So what is that? In the seventh verse he says, नियतस्य तु सन्न्यासः कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः तामसः परिकीर्तितः. Leaving the karmas, giving up the karmas, karmanah sannyasaha. Giving up the karmas, as was told in the second and third verses by the various scholars, give up all the karmas. कर्मणः सन्न्यासः नियतस्य न उपपद्यते. नियतस्य कर्मणः सन्न्यासः तु न उपपद्यते. Whatever karmas you have to do in the form of yajna, tapaha, and dana, they are the niyatam karmas, they are the vihitam karmas for all the unprepared intellects. Of course, Krishna is not telling this, you are unprepared, but as we are learning this, we have to understand that these karmas are niyatam karmas. These are the karmas which are ordained by the Shruti and Smriti for the preparation of the intellect. For all of us are unprepared for this jnanam, and therefore niyatasya karmanaha sanyasaha tu na upapadyate. There is no question of giving up these niyata karmas in the form of yajna, dana, and tapas. Mohat tasya parityagaha. Out of moha, out of wrong understanding, without even realizing that I'm not prepared for this to give up the karmas, a person gives up all the karmas out of wrong understanding, out of delusion, out of moha. Such a parityaga, such a giving up of karma is called as tamasa parikirtitaha. Such a giving up, such a tyaga of karma phala, or sannyasa is called as a tamasa tyaga or tamasa sannyasa, because they are the niyata karmas. These are the ones which have to be done. Vihita karmas, niyata karmas. This is what the Shastra talks about, to prepare oneself for what is to come. But totally an unprepared person giving up all the karmas, that I'm going to just retire from everything and do nothing. And sit and do what? What am I going to do? I'm so used to doing the karma. Is it possible for me to sit and do nothing? Am I prepared for that kind of a thing, of a lifestyle of a sannyasa? No. Out of moha, out of some kind of a delusion, out of some kind of a misunderstanding, when I give up the karmas, which are niyata karmas, this kind of a parityaga or tyaga of karma in the form of yajna, dana, and tapas, such a tyaga is called as the tamasa tyagaha. Then what about rajasa tyagaha? दुःखमित्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेशभयात् त्यजेत् सकृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्यागफलं लभेत्. So if a person, he doesn't want to give up the karma out of any kind of a wrong understanding, but then, oh, this yajna, dana, tapas is nothing but dukkha. So much trouble I have to take. There is so much trouble to the body and mind. Kaya klesha bhaya. The last two words in the second line. Kaya klesha bhaya. I'm afraid of kaya klesha. I'm afraid of the tiredness and the pain it may cause to my body. Because, see, doing this yajna in the form of any kind of a worship, tapas and dana, involves a lot of physical involvement, the involvement of the body, shariram tapaha, vangmayam tapaha, manasam tapaha. So it involves a lot of effort on my part. But who is a rajasa tyagi, the one who gives up the karma? This is a person who is afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of, discomfort to the body, mind, sense complex. Because this yajna, dana, tapa are the karmas which are going to entail some of, a discomfort to the body, mind, sense complex. Dukkham ityeva. Yo, it is not easy to do that. It is dukkha only. Sukhena, I'm not going to do. There's so much of dukkha in doing that. Yat karma, kaya klesha bhayat tyajet. Because of the fear of the dukkha or the ayasa or the trouble that is caused to the body, mind, sense complex, a person gives up doing this yajna, dana, tapo, karma. What is it called? It is called as yat karma. It is called rajasam tyagam. It is called as a rajasam tyaga, and naiva tyaga phalam bhavet. This kind of a tyaga will never get me any kind of a tyaga phala because I may do it incompletely, I may not do it at all, out of laziness, out of the fear of whatever, discomfort that I have to go through. I want to avoid doing all this. This is actually a rajasam tyaga. Then what is a satvika tyaga? That also Bhagwan mentions here. What is a satvika tyaga? कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्यागः सात्विको मतः. Very beautiful explanation. Karyamityeva idam maya kartavyam. I have to do this. This is to be done. Does not matter if I have to go through certain discomforts of the body, mind, sense complex. It doesn't matter. But this yajna, dana, tapa, according to my varna, according to my ashrama, these are the karmas that have to be done. Karyam ityeva. They have to be done. And I will do it. Not out of any kind of a regret, not out of any kind of a resentment, not out of any kind of a dukkha. Yo, I have to do it. It is such a pain. This kind of an attitude is not there. Karyam ityeva yat karmam niyatam. Niyatam karma. Niyatam means what? That which is to be done. That which is advised to be done by the Shruti and Smriti. Yat karma niyatam karyamityeva kriyate. The one who does this, hey Arjuna. And how does he do? Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Sangam tyaktva. Attachment to what? This is my work. I have done it. No, I am a great person because this karma I have done, this yajna I have done, this yaga, this tyaga I have done, this kind of a dhanam I have done. Iti, all the time attached to that karma as my karma. I have done this karma. This is my karma. And at the same time, attachment or sangam to the phalam also. Since I have done this karma, I have to get the results. This is the result that I have to get. I don't understand that whenever I do any karma, there is not only the karta, me as the variable. There are so many variables. That is why Bhagwan said in the second chapter, Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana. Why did he say that? When I discharge any karma, whether it is niyatam karma, whatever it is, this is what I have to do, I will do it. But the phalam is not in my hand because my doing the karma is only one variable, but there is something called as a law of karma. There is something called as a kala. There is something called as a daiva. There is something called as a prarabdha. This law of karma, there are so many variables which are there for my karma to come back as karma phala. Therefore, whenever I do any karma, the karma phala that I get may be in the form of whatever is expected out of me. Very good. It may even be more than what I expected, extremely good, wonderful. But there are possibilities that the result of my karma may be less than what I have done, expected, or exactly opposite to what I expected. It is possible. Therefore, this person who's a sattvika tyagi, the one who is doing tyaga, what is he doing? He is doing karma phala tyaga. This is what Bhagwan Krishna wants to emphasize in the 18th chapter, that sannyasa is nothing but karma phalatyaga, not karma tyaga. Karma has to be done. Even a sannyasi has to do his karma or her karma. There is no question of giving up karma. But what you can do, what you can give up is the karma phala. Karma phala tyaga and not karma tyaga is what Bhagwan is insisting in the 18th chapter. If you ask what is the crux of the teaching of 18th chapter, the crux of the teaching here is karma phalatyaga, not karma tyaga. Every one of us have to do our karma. Krishna being the very avatara of Bhagavan, being the very Bhagavan himself, did he any time run away from doing his duties? All his life, from the time he was a child onwards, he has been continuously doing all the duties that has to be done, smiling all the times without expecting any results, being Bhagwan, being an an avatara. Krishna did so many things. Probably Lord Krishna was much more active, did many more karmas than Arjuna ever did. But even then, he did it because, yes, there was a purpose with which he came as Avatara. And even though he came in a physical body of a human form, Krishna did whatever had to be done. So he says, what is this? Satvika tyaga. Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko mataha. So this satvika tyaga is that which is being done with karma phala tyaga in mind, not karma tyaga. Therefore, A Arjuna, if you are thinking that leaving this battlefield and running away, what are you doing? You're doing a karma tyaga. You're doing your swadharma tyaga. And that is totally against dharma. And rather than preparing you for this knowledge, rather than giving you phalam of this phalam of the karma, you are only going to incur papa. You are only going to fall in your spiritual ladder. It is not going to help you at all. At this point, your yajna, your tapaha, Everything that you do is in the form of this yuddha. Therefore, sannyasa is not for you now. What you need is karma phala tyaga. Do your karma, fight this war, but don't think of the phala that you are going to get. So the entire central teaching of the 18th chapter is karma phala tyaga and not karma tyaga. As long as I'm there in this body mind sense complex with this upadhi, one cannot give up karma. And the very thought that I am going to give up karma for becoming a sannyasi, no. Probably as a sannyasi, a person will start doing more karma than, even a non-sannyasi does. And karmas which are not to be done by the sannyasi also, he may start doing those karmas also. Therefore, better to be where you are and do your karma. Do not do tyaga of the karma. What you need is karma phala tyaga. And in the 10th verse, just we will introduce the 10th verse and we'll stop with this. न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टः मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. So na dveshti akushalam karma. Just because this karma is something which is difficult to be done, he does not avoid that karma. What are you doing, Arjuna? You are avoiding this karma, your swadharma, swakarma of fighting this war. Why? Because it is akushalam. It is not easy to do that. That is why you are trying to avoid this karma in the garb of saying that, oh, all these people will be killed, this will happen, that will happen, Varna Sankara will happen, so many people. Yes, what all you are saying is right. There is no doubt about it. But then right now, unfortunately, this is your karma. This is akushalam karma, na dveshti ashulam akushalam karma. If there is something to be done which is a difficult duty to do, which is a difficult karma to do, such a person who is a sattvika tyagi, he does not shy away from doing that karma. Kushale na anusajjate does not simply go after only kushala karma. Oh, this is easy to be done. I will do this. This will give me the good karma phala. I will do it. This is a difficult karma. Therefore, I am not going to do it. No, it is not like. Whatever needs to be done at that moment of time, whatever yajna, dana, tapas which needs to be done in that particular instant, kushalam va akushalam va, whether it is dukkham or whether it is sukham, whether it is something difficult to be done or easy to be done, does not matter. What is to be done, he does it. Neither does he get entangled with easy or kushalam karma, nor does he shy away from ashobhanam karma, that which is not. Sometimes some of the duties, are very difficult to perform. There are certain things which one has to do which is not very easy for a person to do. But what to do? That is what is to be done. That is the karma to be done. That's why Bhagwan Acharya Shankara says, Na dveshti akushalam ashobhanam kamyam karma. Okay, just because it is sharira, you know, because it is something difficult for me to be done, he does not do that. Tyagi sattva samavishtaha. Sattva samavishtaha. That means the one who has the sattvic predisposition of the mind. A medhavi, a person who is an intelligent karmi, chinna samshayaha. He does not have any samshaya, whether this is to be done or not to be done. Whatever needs to be done, whatever is right now at present my duty to be done, I am going to do this particular duty. Iti, this sattvika tyagi, the person who is this, this who the one who has the sattvika tyaga. Tyaga means what here? Karma phala tyaga, not karma tyaga. He does all the karmas, but the tyaga is what? Towards karma phala. But what does a tamasic person do? Karma itself he gives up. Karma tyaga only he does. What does a rajasic person do? He gives up the karma not because he doesn't want to do it. Oh, it is so difficult. So let me not do it, or let me postpone it, or let me try to put it on somebody's head because it is difficult. It is ayasa for the deha, ayasa for the mind. So let me not do it. No. But a sattvika tyagi, he does the karma, that needs to be done as not his karma, but this is to be niyatam, this is to be karyam iti, this is to be done by me iti, not having any kind of an entanglement with the karma itself or with the karma phala. And such a person does not avoid a karma which is difficult, like you are doing, Arjuna. You have fought wars before. It's not difficult for you to fight a war. And this is a dharma yuddha which you have to fight. But this particular yuddha, you are finding it a kushalam, difficult, because you feel that you have to kill all your gurus and your, jeshtas and other people you have to kill. So this karma for you has become an akushalam karma. Therefore, a satvika tyagi does karma phala tyaga, means he does not worry about the karma phala, but whatever karma he does, whether it is kushalam va, easy karma va, ashobhanam va shobhanam karma, good karma or bad karma. You see, in many organizations, like we see, we have people, anything which is easy and anything which gives a lot of praise, people are willing to run after that and do those karmas. But those karmas which are difficult to be done, which really require a lot of physical and mental effort, and at the same time there may be no recognition for such a person. On the other hand, a person may get blames for it. There are very few people who will do that as his or her karma. So here, a person who has this satvika, a person who is a satvika, the one who does karma phalatyaga in a sattvic way, he looks at every karma as to be done, does not differentiate between kushalam karma or kushalam karma. He is actually a sattva samavishtaha. He is a sattvic person. He is a medhavi. He is an intelligent person. He is chinna samshayaha. He has no samshaya. He has no doubts that what has to be done, and he has no doubts about the actions that he does because it is meant to be done. So, with this, we'll stop today's session. नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय